it's me, Shy, and welcome, my fluffy mochis. Today's video is a chill study video where I discuss some of the things that have happened at work things that have happened that I don't quite understand and wonder if it happens in other states or other cities and towns close to where I am, which I do live in Texas. I am from Texas. And while I ramble about some of the inane retail workers' problems, I figure I'd study some Japanese. And so it's like a little study session. Think of it like what are those classes called? Study hall. And you're just chilling with your friends with some soothing music and just talking about the inane events of life. So, being in Texas, which is something I've talked about with people before, I'm technically in the South, but not entirely in the South. And with that, there seems to be this need for there to be a bizarre closeness, even to strangers. And where I grew up, it didn't happen quite as often unless they were a little bit inebriated and felt a little too unaware of people's personal bubbles. But in small town Texas, it's like everybody does it, especially the elderly. Which I suppose is fine if you ignore the fact that we're in the middle of a great panini and most people don't like wearing their mask, and most, if not more, choose to opt out of the whole mask ordeal entirely, which is a severe disadvantage for everybody that works in the public. But the reason why it confuses me is I make it pretty apparent that I'm not comfortable with people being that close to me, especially if I don't know you. It's nothing personal, really. I just have a big personal bubble. It could be from things that happened to me during school. I was bullied a lot, so I don't really trust people all that much. And the only people that I allow to get close and close enough to be like standing shoulder to shoulder are people I trust and love, like friends and family. So, I guess in their heads, it's like a generational gap, I guess you could say, where people always did things like that. I'm talking for the people that are older, way older generations. But I would hope that they would realize that someone is visibly uncomfortable. An example, and I'm going to keep it as neutral as possible because I can be dramatic, but in this instance, I was thoroughly surprised and a little hurt that she laughed. It was a night that I was closing with the other manager. I won't say anybody's names for anonymity and their safety, but he is a pretty chill guy, very spiritualistic. He's a nice guy. I feel comfortable around him, right? Well, that night I was stocking in the food area and condensing and just getting rid of things that are out of date and making the aisle look nice and pretty again. Which, this is fine and all, up until somebody comes up and they're trying to get by, but they don't say anything, and I don't like to assume, so I don't move anything. By the end of it, they just turn around and go the other way. Well, a little bit later on, I'm at the end of the aisle across from the freezers, and she comes like right up to me, and I'm fully aware because I'm facing where she came from. And I know not everybody follows the 6 foot rule. It's your choice. You do what you want to. But in my own preference, I prefer people I don't know, even without COVID, to stay pretty far away from me. And she kept walking closer and closer, and I would visibly step back. I'm not quite sure what she was asking for. I think she was asking for beanies. And I told her, oh, your friend, your sister, your daughter, whoever she is, she's already looking for them. They're somewhere up front. And she was like, oh, that's my daughter. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, she should be up front. I think I sent her in the right direction. She's like, oh, okay. I think they were one of the last people in the store that night because it was like a few minutes till closing, too. And I figured nothing about it because she's pretty calm about it. She's like very agreeing and she walks off, and I assume she found her daughter. Well, we start checking out, and her daughter was short a few cents. Price changings with the inflammation of economy, people don't quite expect it or they just forget. I don't blame them. Sometimes I forget too. But that's not the point of this. I'm sitting there and she didn't want something. Like, she changed her mind about a Christmas ornament that was on sale. So she walked off, and I'm checking her stuff out as her daughter is like out getting change from their truck. And most registers at the back is open, so there's always a way to get to a cashier, even if he or she or they just don't want to be able to be that easily accessed. Me being one of them, I don't like it, and here's why. Because she came right behind me and tapped my shoulder. I'll be honest, I can't really remember what it is that she wanted, but she wanted something, and it must have been pretty important for her to come right behind me and kind of box me in. And in real life, reality, what it is, I'm a shy, introverted person who is riddled with anxiety every day I wake up. So I felt like a little cat boxed into a bathtub with no way out, and I don't know where to go. There's the shower heads on, I'm panicking, there's water filling, and I'm just staring at her wide eyed, trying to listen to what she wants. And she's giggling about it. I'm like, what? Okay, great. And she goes back around, and I finished checking her out like it was no big deal, and told my mom when I got home, and I was pretty shaken. I was like, I don't get why people do that. Now, like I said, I hope that wasn't that dramatic, but I also attribute that to something that happened at my first job. It was a neighborhood Walmart. I actually liked it. Management could have been better, but I enjoyed working there. And the other cashiers and the CSMs, they made me feel safe and happy, and I didn't have much to worry about. But I attribute why I hate people being close to me as an adult more than I did as a child that went through harassment. There was a night I was at self checkout, and there were 2, 3 guys that were very intoxicated, like they reeked of alcohol. And I believe one of my friends, 2 of my friends, I think, actually got them to back up because they were way too close for comfort, and I was visibly uncomfortable and kept trying to do things and would break away, so I would make an excuse of going to one of the self checkouts to see if somebody needed help. But I definitely attribute my wariness of people being so close to me out in public. I'm only like 4'11" and weigh 113 pounds. I'm not hard to pick up and take off with. So, I close again tonight, and I'm 100% hoping that I don't run into any situations like I did with the elderly lady tonight, because she and like so many others, they just like getting close so much, and it's in their case, it's completely of their volition. It's not because they're intoxicated by anything, it's just their personality. And that's fine. That means you're a very friendly, extroverted, outgoing person, and they're probably all very amazing. I personally just want to know if anybody else ever feels this way. I know my mom does, and it's something I go through, like, even shopping, I'll become uncomfortable by the closeness of like somebody's cart or the closeness of how somebody like how close somebody is standing behind me. And this was before COVID. I just don't like it. So hopefully I'm not alone in this thought process and I won't feel quite as silly because I don't see quite as many people react that way here. It could be just because it's a small town, but it's nerve-wracking nonetheless. I also wonder if there's like a way to. I mean, I'm not having a panic attack every time it happens, but it does make me feel a little silly. And I guess that's okay in its own way. It makes me me. Because if I wasn't that way, I wouldn't quite be me anymore. Anyways, I can't think of anything. Oh, yeah! There is one other thing, and it is specifically pertaining to masks that I also don't understand and seems to be a big problem where I live. Someone will come in with a mask, and they'll still get close to me, and I'll still back away. But I find it ironic when they get close to me as they're removing their mask to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't want you close to me regardless, and I don't know if you have any illnesses. I really don't want you close to me now. No offense, man, but I have an elderly grandmother who is way too fast for her own good and has thyroid issues. I don't want to add to her cacophony of medical problems. I just, I don't know, I find that part ironic. You come in wearing a mask, but you take it off when you're talking. Or whenever someone takes off their mask while you're talking, and I'm going, I get it, I think. Sometimes I struggle to understand what people say, but I don't need my mouth to hear. Anyways, I hope this video wasn't too boring and too whiny. It was just something that came to my mind that I often worry about anytime I go out, and kind of hope that I'm not alone in this. Oop, I just smacked my mouth against the mic, sorry. Because as an adult, I feel like I shouldn't be worried about what people think of me anymore, but as a human being, that's gonna happen anyways, isn't it? Regardless, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat and study with some nice tunes in the background. Thank you, my fluffy little mochis. You all have a good evening. Remember to take care of yourselves, and if you like my content, why not give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe so you can stay tuned for next time. Bye bye!